oh, that's the razzle dazzle. Mine's just drawings. I'm never gonna win this contest. Jim Lee said, hey, wanna caricaturize everybody in the studio? For a while, I thought I was gonna be a Disney animator. So I had an animated style.
All right, Scott, I really want to take you back in time just a little bit. Is that okay?
Yes, let's get nostalgic.
3 different books here.
All right.
We have Nintendo Power.
Ah, the
All
OG.
right, the Savage Dragon issue number 3.
Oh my goodness.
And then also the swimsuit special.
This is the
number
OG
1.
trifecta. These are all my first appearances spread out. This is my very first published work in here. There was a contest. It was called To Create the Ultimate Video Game. It was a contest in Nintendo Power magazine at the time, which was a new publication. And I just pretty much said, well, I'll present my video game idea in a comic book type form. In fact, actually, it was a mix of comic book style and like back in the day with Nintendo, they'd give you these little booklets and it'd have like little like drawings like from the Japanese versions of the games they translated and then put the same artwork in there. So I presented it like a little booklet, like what you would get like with the Nintendo games with all the descriptions. And
Look at that picture.
I know, this is 15-year-old me. And I don't recall having my face that red. I think that's a weird printing error, but who knows? Maybe I was embarrassed. I was flown out to Washington, D.C. for the finals. There was like something like 12 finalists. I remember thinking I'm toast because we all had little like areas where we had our presentations around this like sort of open area. And I remember when they opened it up to the press and they all ran to these 2 kids that had like a video presentation. And I was like, oh, that's the razzle dazzle. Mine's just drawings. I'm never gonna win this contest. But in the end, I ended up winning, which I was so shocked and thrilled with. So that was my first published work, and I'm not exactly sure what year it was that people started figuring out that this existed, but sometimes a misconception is that I did the cover. This is not a cover of mine. I mean, I wish I had done the cover, but I have no idea who did the cover. So, although I do, of course, for CGC purposes, always sign the cover. And then this.
There you are, the letters page.
The letters page. This was sent in when I was trying to break into Image Comics, but it wasn't published until I was already hired by Jim Lee and Homage Studios. He got the mail, and then by the time he published it, I had broken in. So it's kind of, it was after the fact, but it was still, when I drew that, I was not in the industry. So it was kind of a funny thing. So he got to put it in there anyway. And at that point, this was coming out the next month, which is actually my first comic book published work. I remember drawing this stuff here in Colorado. I hadn't moved to San Diego yet to join Homage Studios. And I did this spread here. Look at those chunky amateur inks. I inked myself. I don't know what I was doing. It's kind of funny to see now. They asked me to do a couple of pieces for this upcoming swimsuit issue. I did this one. I think I did, what was her name? Cybernary. Yeah, I don't know if she really took off, but that's Cybernary, so I did that one as well. One of my early styles was Mad Magazine. At the time, I wanted to be a Mad Magazine artist. Jim Lee said, hey, want to caricaturize everybody in the studio? So I did that, and so that also appears in the book. I didn't really stick with that style, though. I felt it was a little bit in conflict with the comic book style, so at the time, I had 2 completely different styles. And actually, I even had a 3rd style because for a while I thought I was going to be a Disney animator. So I had an animated style as well. Eventually, they all merged into the style that you know and love today, hopefully. But back then, they were very segmented. This is my first published work in comic books. It's kind of funny. So, and again, first published work, but first art that I drew before I got hired. So it's kind of funny. So yeah, this is a trifecta of all my first appearances and first printings. There you go, look at that. You got the hot pink matching that. I'm a stickler for matching the inks to the book. There's that. And then lastly, got to get the Ninja Turtle green on this. Voila. Whew. Not bad.